Hello, welcome back to the Crypto Channel for news, tidbits, and resources about the crypto industry. Well, I've been working on my taxes. I have probably spent hundreds of hours in the last few weeks working on my taxes, getting everything ready for the IRS. And I wanted to share with you the different pitfalls and information that I have found. And the first thing I want to talk about is filing your tax return and reporting any profits. Right now, there's not really any accounting practices that are really defined for the crypto industry, but what I can find is they're labeling most of the big accounting firms are using what they would call a cryptocurrency as an indefinitely lived intangible asset. So that's what I found mine as. But right now it's really kind of, there's no real anything in concrete. So whatever you choose, I guess as long as you got a good reason for it and you can back it up, that it might be acceptable. Now I set my stuff up in QuickBooks. It became such a nightmare for me to just see because, you know, I played the market and I traded and that just created so much work. And I'm sure the rest of you are finding this out as well. So what I did is I set mine up in QuickBooks. I set it up as an inventory items. I did try to use, I looked at Quicken. Now that would work, but then, so it depends on what you want to do. But you can look at Quicken. They have a way where they're already tracking different securities and equities for people, and that will look like it would work good too. But I elected to go with QuickBooks and set it up as an inventory item so I could track the in and out and see what was going on. Otherwise, I didn't know anything, and I've been spending so much time doing everything by hand, and it's just getting too crazy. Now, what I did do after I set it up, I used the TaxBit. TaxBit is an online company that will help you track all of your buys and sells so that you can produce a form that you're going to need for your tax return, which is the 8949 form for reporting your profits or losses from your crypto. And I found TaxBit. I did try a couple others and I experimented with them throughout last year, but TaxBit's the one I settled on. And they had 3 plans, and I thought, oh, I won't do more than 250 transactions in a year, and so that's the one I signed up for. Well, by the time I was done, I had about over 1,000 transactions. What I did find out was, just because you're selling, say, 50 coins of Litecoin or some coin or XRP, that if you sell it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's one transaction. By the time it's actually executed by the exchange, it could be 20 transactions. And each of those executions is a different transaction. So unless you're a very light trader, you're not going to get away with the 250 transactions. Most people, I believe, will fall in the middle plan, which is the plus, for 2,500 transactions. And I can tell you that price of $175 for what they're doing, trust me, it's worth every penny and a lot more for the headaches it's helping you with. Now, what I did was I had a bunch of exchanges. I had some coins that I had bought back in 2018 that we lost money on, that had really plummeted 80-90%. I didn't think they were going to come back. I'd made a little bit of profit in 2019. So what I did is I went ahead and sold at the end of the year. Back in November, I went and sold some of those coins that I knew were never coming back and I had taken a loss on to help offset some of these profits that I made in 2019 so that I could decrease the amount of taxes that I would have to pay. So, and that's where TaxBit really came in, because I was being able to go ahead in and sell them, and because they give you an estimate of what they think that your profits will be if you put all the information in, and give you an idea of what your taxation would be. I was able to see that, and I went ahead and took some action to prevent myself from having to pay all these taxes while I was holding all these coins that had gone down 80-90% and never were going to come back. So the best I could do was cut my losses and use it as to help offset some current taxes on some profits I got. And so I did that. And that, I can tell you, was more than worth pay the money of the plan I have. Yes, there's a couple other things I want to mention about TaxBit. To sell those coins that had plummeted in price because of some things that the government regulated last year, Binance was no longer able to have us on their exchange. They created an exchange for U.S. customers, and Bittrex took off a bunch of coins. So a lot of the coins became obscure, and I couldn't get them on those exchanges that I purchased them on because of the government intervention. So I had to go out and find some obscure exchanges. And I opened up probably 6 different exchanges to get these coins marked, just liquidated. When I did that, those exchanges weren't really tracked by TaxBit. They do all the major exchanges and a pretty good number of them, but these particular coins were on these obscure exchanges. So I had to do what they call a CSV file, or a spreadsheet that you would do in Office. And I can tell you that they made it so simple. They sent me down a sample. I was able to download a sample, and they had told me exactly how to fill it out, so I could take these trades and put them in the spreadsheet and upload to my account online so that they could put this into this 8949 format. And I would have it reported, and I wouldn't have to add it as an extra. And I can tell you that I probably sent 10, 15 emails back and forth to their customer support, and they were very responsive. They walked me through when I duplicated things. They eliminated the duplications from their side because I couldn't make those corrections. If I had a problem and I couldn't upload the file because I filled something out wrong, they went ahead and they fixed it for me, and they took care of it. And I can tell you that when it was all said and done, that they were so helpful. I cannot say enough that I could not have got that done without their help using all those obscure exchanges. And I used 11 different exchanges last year. And some of them I only did one transaction on. That was just to sell those coins. But I got it done. They helped me get this done. It took me a while. It took me about a month of work. And I actually started last year with all this, but it was pretty intense. And it's done. I can tell you, I feel like I'm out of prison. And I am feeling very good about what I got done and the help that I received from that company. And I will be a client of theirs for many, many years to come. I hope I will be in this industry for that long. Well, so that is where I am at on the filing, getting your documents and filing the stuff. Now what I want to talk about next is this FinCen 114 form that we keep hearing about. It's the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and this is under the U.S. Treasury Department, just like the IRS is under the U.S. Treasury Department. So they're really handling this stuff, but again, they're very conflicting information on these things. When I went to figure out, do I have to do this form, because I don't want to make some money down the road and then have the IRS on my back or somebody coming and taking it, kind of defeats the whole purpose, and I don't want to live in fear of an audit or any of these things. So I want to do it right, and that was my thinking. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to do it right and pay my taxes if I have to pay taxes, and I want to do reporting of what I have to report, and I feel that most people do feel this way. So I started to investigate, do I have to fill out this FBAR, or FBAR, which is the Foreign Bank Financial Accounts, the FBAR FinCen 114 form. So that's what I started to figure out. And I can tell you, there was no clear-cut answer. You watch this one thing and they say, oh, you got to do it, they're going to come and get you. You watch something else and, oh, no, you don't have to do that. Well, I got online and I called a number. Well, it happened to be for technical support on that site that, let me pull that site up for you. Let's see if I can find that. FBAR reporting. Okay, so it's going to be this reporting site. So I got online to try to figure out if I was going to be doing this. And by the time I was done, I was very confused of what I really needed to do. And then to make things even worse, I formed a partnership in the middle of the year. So then I wasn't sure if I needed to file as an individual, file as a partnership, or file as both. But whatever it was, I wanted to do it right. So I contacted the number that I found on their website, which was for technical support. I found out they emailed, they didn't answer the phone. I finally I sent them an email. Somebody wrote me back from this organization, and they told me that I had the wrong place and I need to call the IRS. But then I found another place, and I found another phone number, and I left a detailed voicemail. About a week and a half later, I got a phone call, and it was somebody from this organization, and they told me, they gave me another phone number that I should call, and that phone number is right here. It's 866-270-0733, option 2. And they told me these people would be able to answer my questions and put me on the right track for the FinCen 114 form. They had nothing to do with the IRS. They were very clear about that. They just take care of the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. They're the FBAR. So, a couple days later, I called that number and I spoke with a lady there. And in the meantime, since I couldn't get anybody on the phone, couldn't get any questions answered, I went ahead and I got online and I filed the FinCen 114 form. I said, you know what? I'm better off to do it and do it wrong than not do it at all. And I filed it. And when I talked to this lady on the phone, she told me that cryptocurrencies that are held on an exchange are pretty much considered to be in a wallet. The exchange is not a financial institution. So, and I dealt with KuCoin, I dealt with Binance, I dealt with Dcoin, IDEX.pro, Biloxi, HitBTC, and several others. Cryptopia. Like I said, I hit them. I was on all of them. And I couldn't even get addresses out of these people. I wrote to Binance and I requested what their address was so I could put on this form I was going to fill out. And they wrote back and told me they didn't have a physical address that they could give me. So when I filled out the form, I just put on there the country because I didn't know what else to put. KuCoin, when I wrote to them last year to ask them about an address, they told me they didn't give me an address either. But this year when I wrote to them, they did give me an address. So I filled out the form the best I could, found out I don't need to do the form. And I asked the lady, I said, well, how do I delete this form? She said, well, you don't. Once that form's filed, it's filed. I said, well, they're going to think I'm pretty dumb when they look at that. I said, so I felt pretty dumb. I filled the form out. I didn't need to do the form. And I was getting ready to amend the form because I forgot about a couple of obscure transactions that I did to sell those coins off. And I should have listed them on there. I felt I should have listed them on there. But to come to find out is because I didn't really deal in US dollars. I only dealt in cryptocurrency or virtual currency. And I didn't deal with an institution that had a physical address and that had an account number. They gave me an account number and a physical address of where they were, that this was considered a wallet. And because it was considered a wallet, it did not fall under the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. The FinCen 114 form was not required. So, and that's what I really wanted to share with everybody. I wanted you to have this number because I am not offering advice, tax reporting advice. That's not what this video is. This is my experience, what I went through, what I found out, and how I use the information that I found. And you have to make a decision and do your own research. So I want to give you the number, and they said use option 2. The lady was very helpful. I will tell you, it was 30 minutes on hold waiting to get her. She was very good about what her information. She knew it. She wasn't wishy-washy about it. She was very direct. And I think she got a good laugh at me for being so dumb to fill this form out that I didn't need to fill out. And that was exactly how it went down. So for everybody out there worrying about this FBAR, I want to say FBAR, but FBAR, FinCen 114 form for the cryptocurrencies, chances are pretty good if you did not deal in US dollars and you only dealt in virtual currencies and it is not a financial institution, that you don't have to worry about it. But to be sure, you need to go see a tax attorney or call this number and talk to them yourself. The only other issue I did want to talk about today in regards to the reporting for the government is this IRS 8938, which is a statement of specified foreign financial assets. Now, this form is separate from the FinCen 114. In fact, the FinCen is held by the FBAR organization, and the IRS handles the 8938 reporting, and they look at things differently. One of them looks at it as a virtual currency, the other looks at it as like an asset that they consider like dollars. There's not like on the same page with this, and so as this is also new and growing, we have to kind of just go along and do the best we can. But the bottom line, it comes down with this 8938 is it's based on a threshold of money. So if it's over 10,000 aggregately anytime through the year, and it's dollars in the institution, the financial institution overseas, you need to report the FinCen 114. Now the 8938 is if you have over, it really depends on, if you're married, you're not married, if you're living in the country, you're not living in the country. There's so much information. But it is 8938. You can go online here to the IRS website. You can print out the instruction booklet, print out the form. But basically, if you didn't have over $75,000 in an exchange, in what they would consider a financial institution, and they might very well consider an exchange a financial institution. I'm not going to say they're not, because they very well could. I didn't fall under this, so I didn't call anybody and get the real specifics. I did call the IRS to talk to them about this stuff, and I probably spent 45 minutes on hold, and I called the IRS and waited. The guy got on the line, and I asked him my questions. And I said I would like to go into the local office, make an appointment, and talk to somebody about this stuff so that I could get it all right. He came back and told me after about 15 minutes of going around and talking to whoever else that there was no office that had anybody qualified that could answer my questions regarding cryptocurrencies. And then I said, well, is there anybody I could talk on the telephone? And he came back about 10 minutes later, and he said, there is no one that can get on the telephone and answer my questions about the cryptocurrency and these reportings. And let me tell you, I was pretty frustrated. After all this time on hold and hearing all these information about other IRSs coming after you and all this, and you better do this, you better do that. And I said to the guy, I said, all the money that the government wastes on all these ridiculous things, that they could not have some qualified people on the telephone or in the office that I could go and get these questions answered. But yet, they're threatening me that if I don't do this stuff right, that they're going to fine me and penalize me. And that just didn't make any sense to me. Poor guy. I kind of felt bad when I got done because I kind of let my frustration out on him, and he didn't really deserve that. And he handled it pretty good. He just shut up. He waited. I shut up after a minute, and he said, asked if I wanted to say anything else, so he must be used to it by now. The point is, the IRS can't help you. He actually told me that if I wanted the answers to those questions, that I needed to go to a tax attorney. And I didn't really feel that was fair, that I should have to go pay a tax attorney for an answer that the IRS should be able to tell me. So, I don't know about you all, but that's pretty sad. When we pay all this money and they waste all this money on their pet projects, they can't give us the help, but yet they're going to threaten us if we don't do this, that we're going to be penalized. So there is no clear-cut answer. Nobody has it. The IRS doesn't have it. So I would tell you again, go to a tax attorney. If you feel that you're going to fall into this, it is worth the money to keep yourself from having to stress about it later. So that's all I'm going to say on that issue there. And I hope that you enjoyed my video, that I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. And I'm going to continue to make more videos. And you have a great day. Thank you.